morning, good afternoon, good evening. To know me is to know that I I really do not like contemporary Christian music. Don't. I despise most of it because it's often inward focused and driven by this first person language. It's commonly all about one's personal relationship with God. Or it's all about what God has done for individuals, ignoring, if you will, the Bible's continued commitment to restoration and the unraveling of systemic oppression. So contemporary Christian music just doesn't do it for me. I guess you wouldn't feel good about yourself, which isn't a bad thing, but it just kind of goes there and stays there. I don't know. Ain't my shtick, I guess you could say. It could be yours, which is fine. We're all different. Unfortunately, I find a lot of progressive communities, church communities, religious communities, during this month, this Pride Month, they annoyingly get stuck, if you will, on the me all the time. And that's annoying. It just is. In the last chapter of the Gospel of John, Jesus is asking Peter, Simon Peter, if Peter loves him. And in reply, Peter professes his love over and over and over again. Yeah. It's a quirky little exchange between Jesus and Peter. Jesus was really challenging Peter to rethink what it means to love Jesus. Because love for Jesus is not a declaration. It's an action. And when Jesus asked Peter if he loved him, Jesus, I don't think, was looking for a confessional I statement of simply, yes, Jesus, I love you. I'm not seeing that. He was interested in how Peter, planned to show up in the world with that love for Jesus. As we enter Pride Month, and folks, Pride Month isn't anti-heterosexuality, okay? It's, Lordy. It's about embracing a community that has been vilified and demeaned and ostracized and demoted and somehow made subhuman. Everything that is anti-Christ, the behavior people have is just so destructive. Pride Month is about embracing our brothers and sisters and their humanity. And to acknowledge that we are family, that we're all brothers and sisters in Christ. And that is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful rainbow. As we enter Pride Month amid a challenging year, to say the least, especially for our trans siblings, I urge progressive religious communities to rethink their approaches to Pride Month. Okay? Jesus reminds us at the end of John's Gospel that love is not a declaration of affection or affirmation. It's an action. It's an action. Jesus expects more than our proclamation of love. and support for the queer community. Jesus commands deeper engagement. Okay. The I statements are merely hollow attempts at brand management. Oh, we're open and affirming. Look at us. We say we love our queer brothers and sisters. And that's kind of where it ends. At least it seems like for a lot of progressive communities. Giving lip service, if you will, to the inclusivity of God's kingdom. Their attempts to make institutions feel better rather than tangible actions that support the community that really needs supporting. When Jesus asks us if we love him, he asks us really, how are we showing up for our trans sibling, brother and sisters? What are we doing in the midst of all the dehumanizing language that is out there and the harmful legislation that's coming down the pike? Jesus asks us how we push back against book bans, okay, and curriculum censorship that targets queer content in public schools. Jesus asks us, how are we addressing limited access to affirming healthcare for our trans and non-binary youth? Jesus asks us, what in the heck are we doing? Okay? In response to the continued increase in hate crimes against black and brown trans women. What are we doing? Jesus asks us how we plan to confront barriers to employment and ongoing workplace bias and harassment and underrepresentation in hiring, in promotion, and in pay. Jesus asks us, how are we defying, if you will, deep-seated religious opposition that's often couched, this is so ridiculous, often couched in, we gotta protect the children, rhetoric. That tragically, that kind of rhetoric, tragically and ironically actually fuels the increase of unhoused youth, of homeless youth. So, dear church, when you seek to offer your affirmations this Pride season, strike a different tune. Okay? Leave the me behind. Leave that aside and be sure that your expressions of support and solidarity and advocacy are responsive to genuine need and anchored in the lived realities of the queer community. Because, dear friends, this is what love looked like for Jesus. This is what love looks like to love Jesus. This is what it looks like, simply, to love. God bless you. Peace be with you.